Hi, welcome to today's Voice of Greatness broadcast. My name is Joel Bryant and I'm your host. And on today's broadcast, I want to take a few moments and speak about something that I call the inertia of greatness. Now, I believe that this topic is relevant to many of you, at least to most of you, if you've taken seriously the pursuit of greatness and you've committed to your dreams, you have your goals, you've made your plans, you take your steps, your activities, and along the way, you run into something that I call inertia. Now, that's just a fancy word for saying something that produces resistance. Now, as you know, anytime you're in motion, you're going to encounter resistance. You're going to encounter friction. You're going to create friction. And so the key to understanding this process and when you enter this experience is inertia is normal. Remember, inertia just means resistance. You might think about it as being sluggish or lethargic or maybe even indifferent or passive or some attitude that causes you to lose your zeal, your zest, your excitement, your commitment. But you have to understand that inertia is normal. And there are three ways to identify when you are experiencing the inertia of greatness, and then things you can do to overcome this inertia. And this is so important because we live in a day and a time when success is all around us. People are blooming and blossoming while others are blaming and cursing their circumstances. And the difference between those who win and those who whine or those who wane is understanding that inertia is normal and not allowing inertia to nullify their pursuit of their goals and their dreams, their aspirations, despite inevitable friction, tension, and resistance. One of the first things that inertia does, inertia affects your speed. Think about it when you first started your commitment to greatness, your pursuit, how rapid your pace was. You were very brisk, you were excited, you were committed, you were zealous, you were telling everybody about your goals, your dreams, and your plans, and you had this really nice pace. But somewhere along the way, you hit a problem or a pothole or some call didn't get returned, some project didn't get funded, some help that you depended upon was not available or did not follow through, and all of a sudden that changed your speed. And now where you once were zealous, you've become lethargic. And what you have to understand is this, is that when you are in motion, you're not in this thing by yourself. There are other people in the same lane. And if you've ever run or gotten behind a tractor trailer or a bunch of cars on a freeway, you know that all those other vehicles can affect your vehicle, your speed. So you have to understand this. Inertia is just simply the product and the process of friction that occurs when you are in pursuit. And what happens is instead of slowing down, instead of backing off, you have to accelerate. So if you don't accelerate, you can't excel. How do you accelerate? You recommit to achieving that pace that you are comfortable with. How do you do that? Think about it this way very practically. Maybe one day you might send out 10 emails a day, 10 letters a day, whatever is relevant for your business. Let's say you did this thing 10 times a day. Now because you experienced some inertia, now you drop down to about 5 times a day. Then maybe 3 times a day. And now maybe once a week. And now you're questioning legitimacy and the validity of your actions, and you're saying, well, maybe this can't get me there. That is a sign that you are allowing inertia to nullify your excitement. So what do you have to do? Recommit to doing what you said before inertia came in and made you question the effectiveness of your actions. If not, you will slow down until you eventually stop. You'll pull over and then you'll pull out. And what happens when you do this is you begin to remove your candidacy for being a person of greatness. That is so important. Inertia is normal. You're going to encounter resistance. You're going to encounter friction. Your speed will change. But you've got to, in your mind and in your emotions, you've got to find a place where you get on cruise control. And the way you do that is you don't allow results to determine your resolve. The way to get on cruise control, think about it. When you're driving a long drive, which is what greatness is, a lot of times you say, you know what, I'm going to set my speed at 70 miles an hour. I'm going to get in the slow lane for those who are driving really fast so I don't impede anybody else's progress. And I'm going to rest my leg. And you know what? That makes a trip so much more enjoyable. You're much more relaxed. And so a lot of us, we don't know how to get on cruise control because we're so busy watching people drive by us or running over us, and we intend to allow that to change our speed. I want to encourage you today. Inertia is normal. It will affect your speed if you're not careful. Another thing that inertia affects, it affects your direction. When you encounter too much resistance in a direction, do you know you are tempted and prone to change your direction? Now, sometimes that's good, but you don't allow inertia to be the sole criteria for changing your direction. See, you have to understand this. If you're going to go toward greatness and you're going to be persistent and committed, you must be prepared for all kinds of opposition, all kinds of contingencies that pop up in order to turn you aside. You would be amazed if you studied the stories of great people, how they pursued a direction and were told by experts that they didn't have what it takes. They didn't have the goods. They didn't have the grace. And they were not gifted enough to achieve greatness. But those people who did not listen, and you can name them, Stephen Jobs, U2, go look up U2, the group with Bono. Go study about their beginning. Go study about the Beatles' beginning. These people were told by experts that you guys, you girls, you people don't have what it takes. And if they had have listened, the world would not have been blessed by their music. More important than their music is their story. Don't allow inertia to change your direction. Instead of turning your direction, get more committed at getting better. See, you've got to become so good that people cannot ignore you any longer. You've got to become so excellent, so proficient, so passionate, so precise that people say, you know what, we have got to support this. Now, most people you see, at least that I see, I don't see that level of greatness in them. I see people who were fortunate and fortuitous to have a moment. And that's great, they had their moment, but see, greatness is about longevity. And you move from longevity to legacy. But if you don't have that attitude, you will allow resistance, you will allow inertia to nullify your pursuit, and you will change your direction because somebody you respect said, you can't do that. That is very crucial. It's very critical. If you're committed to greatness, you have to have this inner resolve. See, once you listen to all the great speakers and read all the great books and attend all the seminars and all those things that are abundant and plentiful, at the end of the conversation, you've got to look into the mirror of your heart and your soul, and you have to say to yourself, I will persist until I succeed. And if I don't succeed, I'm going to die trying. See, if you don't have that attitude, I doubt very seriously that you will ever achieve greatness. I'm not saying that you can't, but when you look at the pattern of greatness, it takes great opposition to achieve something that's worthwhile and noteworthy. And friction and inertia and resistance and sluggishness, all those experiences, if you're not careful, can cripple you in your pursuit. So don't allow inertia to change your speed. If you started sending out 10 letters a day, calling on 10 customers a day, whatever your process is for your business, then get back to that standard. And then let that standard be your cruise control regardless of the results that you get in your activity. Change your methods, but don't change your dream. Don't change your direction because somebody you respect said, oh, you can't write. Oh, you'll never be a great speaker. You talk too fast and you stutter and your words are not clear and you don't have the diction and you don't have the appearance and you don't have the protocols of the platform. Don't listen to the experts. Anybody can be an expert in 2014. All you need is a website and a blog and a Twitter handle and a Facebook page and a fan page. And all of a sudden, people who know nothing about greatness become a standard that strangles people who are in their pursuit who don't know better. I want to encourage you today. I've been down that path. I know what it is to be told you will never be anything. But by the same token, I understand the power of tenacity, the will to get better, the grace to receive what you need to pursue your dreams. And along the way, if you do that, you won't allow inertia to change your speed, your direction, and lastly, it'll change your emotion. See, you can always tell a lot about a person by how they walk. We call it body language, which is another form of sign language. See, a person that's committed to greatness is excited. Can you imagine talking to somebody, a doctor, he's going to do surgery on you, and he says, well, you know, he's slumped over, his voice is low, his words are hedged and hemmed by all kinds of contingencies and maybes and I'm not sure and well, we're going to see. And no, that's going to make you uncomfortable and lose confidence in his ability to perform the surgery at a level of mastery that makes you feel like I'm going to recover. See, motion has to do with your body language, has to do with your speech, has to do with your posture, has to do with how people experience your energy. See, people who are successful are very high energy. When you meet them, they're almost like a fire starter. They ignite you. They're a catalyst. There are persons that always have that inner fire burning. I want to encourage you today. There is an inertia in greatness. Don't be fooled by all the people that you see popping up overnight. Those people have their moment. They have their time. Doesn't mean that you won't have yours. But if you don't overcome the inertia of greatness, if you don't recognize that resistance and friction and opposition are inevitable, then you will allow that inertia to affect your speed. You will no longer do what you were doing at the pace you were doing it at. It will affect your direction. I see so many people, every time you meet them, they have a different business scheme. Every time you meet them, they have a different opportunity that they're pursuing and they never see anything through. And there is no way I would ever get on board with a person like that. Now, I'm not saying that somebody can't come up with a once-in-a-lifetime idea or an opportunity. That's different. That's where your instinct has to kick in to say, is this something I want to align myself with? But in general, I see so many people jumping around from scheme to scheme, from platform to program, trying to find the magic bullet. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's the American way. But if you begin your direction without a sense of destiny, then you're going to be a victim of all these opportunists. It's not an opportunity. They're really opportunists because they're capitalizing in on your desperation and your frustration and your anxiety about your future. Be encouraged. You have a destiny. You have a capacity because you have a propensity. That means you have an inclination to do something that only you can do in a way that is unique and special. And you say, but Joel, if I have that, why hasn't anybody seen that? Well, a couple of reasons, which I'll get into in another broadcast. But let me just say this to you. There's something called timing. I've said it before. I said it in other broadcasts. I say it to myself. There's a time for everyone to bring forth their gifts and their grace to help people in a way and on a level that they envision and that we feel like we're capable of doing. But that'll never happen if we allow these moments of inertia to nullify, to annihilate, and to negate our speed, our motion, and our direction. You have to make a choice and pursue your choice. That's the bottom line. You have to make a choice and pursue your choice. And lastly, I'll say this. Be discriminating about the data you take in. I get about 15 emails a day from all kinds of experts on social media and all these various platforms. And if I'm not careful, just the sheer amount of data would overwhelm me till I don't know what platform to take, what webinar to sign up for. All these webinars, and see, all those things can become a source of inertia because you have all this in front of you and you're so overwhelmed that you're not taking advantage of any of it. So pick one and pursue it. Don't worry about those that you can't do. That is so critical. Great people are great consumers of information. They know how to discern and to decide what they take in. And they don't take on too much because they understand that they get weighted down with data. And all of a sudden, that inertia comes in. And now they don't respond to opportunity. They don't talk about their vision in a way that excites other people. I want to encourage you today. You and I are on a journey. Some people get there overnight. Some of us get there over time. But what matters is getting there. That's what matters. Be encouraged. Your gifts are important. Your talents are unique and necessary. And if you would take the time to recommit yourself to your dreams, to allow yourself to be patient with yourself, to believe in yourself when nobody else does, by simply choosing to, affirming your own greatness in the absence of results. See, great people affirm their own greatness in the absence of evidence. They win before they ever step on the stage. And if you do that, it's just a matter of time before you come into your time. And everybody says, "Who is that? Wow." Be encouraged. This has been the Voice of Greatness broadcast. My name is Joel Bryant. Until next time, have a greatness week, because you can.